John from Ringside Collectibles, and we're here at the WrestleMania Superstore at WrestleMania in Hollywood. And I'm here with Bill Miekina and Steve Ozer from Mattel for the Mattel Q&A. So Bill and Steve, let's kick it off. First question, could we ever see a women's Build-A-Figure? What's the likelihood of this? Bill?
There's nothing preventing it. It's just picking the right wave and the right talent to for execution, really.
I want to do it. I want to do it.
Is there any woman that in the history of wrestling that stands out as a potential Build-A-Figure to you guys?
Oh my gosh. I mean, managers would be great, right? I don't want to say names because, you know, I don't want to loop us into something.
Spoilers,
or
yeah.
even, I don't want to set expectations too high, but you know, managers I think would be really great for women Build-A-Figures, even ones we may have done figures of already, perhaps. But yeah, I mean, Bill and I talk all the time. I pester him. He knows I want, you know, more women in the line, Build-A-Figures that are non-suited characters, which I mean, we showed Lex today, so we're in that direction already. There's a good chance.
What about female retros?
Oh yeah, I mean, same, very good chance. You know, once again, there's a lot of great talent from the past to pull from that we have access to. So I would say really, like, you know, nothing to announce at this time. But, you know, it's very probable.
Okay, very good. So next question, what upgrades to materials and resources has the team discovered that make the team excited to create?
I mean, there's been so many in recent years that the True Effects face detailing, the displacing hip joint, the butterfly joints on the shoulders, a print process where they can now print some of the logos on the back of shirts with Velcro before, whereas before it was just the alignment would work. They've now figured out how to get it to that point. So there's always upgrades and ways to improve the line that we're always asking for, and then sometimes we get it. I mean, sometimes even as much as like wall thickness on an accessory to make it a little bit, you know, a little bit thinner to make it more, to look more like it looks like in real life. Like just constantly sort of challenging our production team. Like, hey, can we try to see what this looks like and see if we can put it in production? Which sometimes it might have been something where in the past they would have executed differently. Just asking them to try to do it this time. And in many instances, they're able to do it. And when that happens, you get an upgrade. Sometimes one that you don't even, as a consumer, you don't even see, but you know, knowing that the thought goes into making like the Seth Rollins jacket that had the posable sleeves. Like with the beginning of the line, that probably was not something that would have been considered. And now we're at the point where when you ask them to try to do something like that, they're comfortable doing it.
One of my favorite recent innovations was on the Undertaker exclusive when the singlet straps came down.
Yeah, absolutely. Stuff like that. Just trying to execute things differently. Whereas before we might have done it one way, now we have so much just built-in knowledge just from doing that so long. Like I've done 100 ways of elites. There's things that I know now. Like, I didn't know this at the beginning of the line. Now I know I can execute it this way, and those learnings are rolled into like how we construct the line.
That's awesome. Next question. Can you give us an update on the possibility of a referee figure, like say a Charles Robinson or other referees? Any updates, Steve?
We want to do it.
Okay.
And I think chances are getting much, much better.
Nice. That's awesome news. Next question. With the Great Muta's Hall of Fame induction, is it possible we'll see him in the line? Or even Andy Kaufman, or anyone else that is going in the Hall of Fame this year that hasn't been out yet?
We want all these talent to have action figures, right? I mean, you know, we've made Rob Gronkowski, we've made Zeus, we've made Mr. T. So these, you know, new talent, Hall of Famers, you know, fit right in with that kind of line of thinking and way of planning things. But, you know, we need, you know, certain things to happen for that to occur. There's nothing on our end where we would have any hesitation of doing any superstars or talents like that. And Bill loves Muta. I love Muta, but Bill really loves Muta, so.
I don't know, like literally like right in front of us where we're taping, they have the Great Muta's outfit he wore January 1st when he wrestled Shinsuke Nakamura in Tokyo. I was 4th row at that event.
Wow.
So believe me, if we ever get the rights to Great Muta, it is something I would not be upset.
Okay. Awesome. So next question, with the Monday Night Wars line announced, what's the possibility of seeing an ECW line in the future?
It's official. Monday Night Wars has been canceled, and ECW. No, I don't know if a line could happen. I could maybe see some ECW talent appearing in the Monday Night War line. There was an episode, a few episodes of Raw. Yeah, a few episodes of Raw where ECW was very prominent. So I wouldn't rule that out. Maybe someday, if we develop more of a roster that's suitable for an ECW line, but I don't think it's sustainable right now. So they'll appear elsewhere as we get rights to certain talent.
Very cool. And can you tell us more about the Ultimate Articulation and the adjustments that have been made for it? What's new?
For 2023, our most noticeable innovation is the displacing hips or the drop-down hips, where you can slightly pull the legs down, which means when you pose it up and down, it has a little bit more range of motion to go up, so you can get higher kicks, you can get more accurate-looking super kicks, and something like on the Rob Van Dam, like he can actually do the Rob Van Dam splits, where he would be, the torso would be here and his legs would be like 90 degrees perpendicular, like you'd see that. Photos of that, and it looked like kind of like that's not even like physically possible. Yet this guy's a huge dude is doing this, and now you can actually recreate it with our action figures, which was not possible before. So that's one of the constant innovations.
That's awesome. Steve, what has been your favorite innovation?
I mean, I'll also say the drop down hips. I did a sharpshooter example on Instagram a few months ago, and it was just like perfect. And that was just with one figure having them. If both have it, it's a breeze. So I want to test the limits. And I know, I was talking to Squared Circle Photography, and it's like, and I said to him, like, as you guys, you people who like to pose and do action figure photography, play with these, you're just going to discover more and more possibilities with this new articulation. So I think, we haven't even scratched the surface, as collectors ourselves, of what can be done with them. And the butterfly shoulders, of course, are a fantastic addition and really increase the posability overall. So, that line, the evolution of that line in the past few years alone is amazing. And just like seeing them on display here, it's like, holy smokes, what a line, visually and posability wise. So, really proud of it. Everyone knows it's my baby. Me and Bill created that line a couple years ago, and I love that it's thriving and everybody has accepted it and is very fond of it now.
Awesome. Yeah, that line has blown everyone away. So you guys are killing it.
Thank you.
And another question, how confident are you in the crowdfunding at this point, and will WCW Stage open up the possibility of ring assets like a Hell in a Cell or a steel cage in that scale?
So the stage already seems to be outpacing the performance of the New Generation Arena, so that's nice to see. We have the early bird, early backer bonus Hulk Hogan figure that ends next Friday, so I would expect a huge uptick next Friday of people jumping in on that. So I'm very hopeful for this project to get funded and us get those figures that are included with it. As far as like world building goes, like we are always looking for ways to expand what we're doing, whether it's Hell in the Cell, play sets, backstage, whatever. So I think it's just, you need opportunities to do that, whether it's partnering with you at Ringside for a new ring or a play set or another retailer or Mattel Creations. You need those opportunities, those moments. It needs to fit with the strategy. I know this is boring talk, fit with the strategy. Who cares, right? You want the stuff. But moral of the story, we're looking for ways to make it all happen. Nothing is a no. We want it to happen.
Awesome. So next question, what goes into selecting the names for the Ultimate Edition figures to be store exclusives as opposed to the Ultimate Edition line?
Okay. Really, it's like, you want to give a retailer a theme, a statement for a line. Ringside it's not Ultimates, but defining moments. There's a theme behind that. It's ownable for Ringside. So you want to do that with our Ultimate figures as well. Ringside has Ultimate Tag Teams. That's ownable for Ringside. So when you land on a theme like Legends, for instance, you're just like choosing talent who can last and perform for a certain amount of time at retail, right? 6 months in some cases. Who's strong enough to do that? Macho Man, right? So, there's a lot that informs those decisions. It's not just pulling names out of a hat. And wouldn't it be cool to make whoever? There's a lot of thought that goes into it, and sometimes there's feedback from a retailer themselves. Ringside, we work very closely with you guys on talent selections, and the same happens for other retailers as well. And you want to get them excited, get them to support a product, and then we want that product to perform well so we can keep doing more exclusive items and Ultimates. You don't want it to die, and I think Ultimates is a good indication of, they've all been doing well and they're all continuing. So, I think maybe sometimes on the surface, decisions might seem like, why did they do this? Right. But it's working, so, and we're getting more importantly.
Awesome. So next question. There are a lot of first time in the line legends popping up. Can we expect more first time in the line names on the current roster and in NXT? Bill?
I'm working on a few right now that I am not going to disclose because they're too early in the process to do so. Sure. But yeah, of course. I mean, we want freshness in the line. We want to make sure that when we put out a lineup, we're trying to cast as wide a net as possible so that the people that want, just the people that are on TV every week, we satisfy those people, to satisfy the people that want to, the legend talent, the female talent, the new talent, the main event talent, the established talent. Like we want everyone to be happy when we announce a lineup. So yeah, it's not spilling any beans, but yes, we do want to constantly have new names in lineups.
And we haven't finished our reveals for the weekend, so.
Mystery. Will there be anything special happening for WrestleMania 40 in the line? It's a big year.
I mean, we like our anniversary items for sure. We hope to do something special. Okay. Lots of celebratory things going on, whether it's an item or items or some sort of retail display. I'm sure WrestleMania 40 will be celebrated in a huge, huge way. And of course, we have WrestleMania Elites, right, already anchored and celebrating, that milestone. So, we'll see what comes to fruition a year from now, but it's a huge milestone in my hometown of Philly. So super excited for that. And, I'm sure we're going to have some great figures, either directly or indirectly surrounding that event.
Awesome. And could we ever see any die-cast figure belts?
It is something that Bill and I and Bill's manager, Bill, have discussed. Okay. I think it's, going back to looking for right opportunities to do something to where it can work and be successful. That's the key. We can do anything, but we want it to actually be successful and live on, not be a one and done. So, we'll continue to explore to see if that can ever become a possibility. Do you want to chime in on anything there, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, it's not if we were going to invest, in how we spend our company's investments, like that, to me, I don't know if that's enough I think there are other priorities, at least for me as a designer, to prioritize over slightly heavier belts. Mm-hmm. And that's just the way I look at it.
Okay. You're open to it.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it.
Sure.
But when I'm thinking like, what are my priorities to be able to include every year, in terms of upgrades, talent, making sure the talent's fresh, in terms of investing in metal belts is low. For me, it's lower on the list than a lot of other things.
And along the same lines, is there any chance we'll see the return of belt packs?
I think so. Okay. I think, opportunities present themselves all the time. I've heard a lot of requests for belt packs coming back. Maybe John and I can have a combo and we can see what we can do.
You never know. So that was all the questions, guys. Thank you. To wrap this up, what was your favorite figure on display here at WrestleMania?
All the Ringside Collectibles exclusives, of course. I think Cody from Hell in the Cell was off the charts amazing, and the Mankind from Hell in the Cell as well. I think it's a great step into what else can we possibly do? These cool executions. So I think it opens a door.
Yeah.
it opens a door for more of that, hopefully. I'm sure they're going to do very well. Everyone seems excited. You guys are excited. And like, what's next after that, right? So yeah, super stoked for these figures.
Awesome. Bill, how about you?
Probably not the answer you want, but the gobbledygooker.
No, gobbledygooker's amazing.
I mean, it's one of those things. It's like if we were going to do it, we got to do it correctly, and do it like make sure that we're not cutting anything. And I had always thought that was like an impossible task. It's why I've always kind of resisted doing it. But this year there was like an opening where it's like, oh, we can actually do that here. Well, we got to do it here then, and then we did it.
That's incredible, Bill. Well, thank you for bringing the gobbledygooker to life. Everyone's been waiting so long.
Yeah, it's something that Steve really pushed for too. So he definitely played a role in making it happen. And then once the stars aligned, you know, and then apparently the response to it has been quite larger than expected, maybe, in terms of what, you know.
So
it seems like something that a lot of people have wanted for a long time. Sure.
It's living up to the expectations I said it would do to get it approved.
That's awesome. Well, thank you guys. It's been an incredible WrestleMania Mattel display, and there's still more to come. Stay tuned to Ringside Collectibles for more coverage of Mattel WWE at WrestleMania. Thank you guys.